Away from one and superhuman pick from Travis Hunter. Put the cape on him already.
Gonna keep it on the ground with Jeanty on 2nd and 10. Look at him bounce off tacklers. Jeanty with some room. Jeanty has the speed. You call it launch speed.
If you've been watching college football, you know that the two most gravitating players in the entire nation is Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty. It's not even a competition. All right, I don't know why Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel showed up to the Heisman competition knowing good and well they weren't winning. It was very obvious who the two best in the nation were, but obviously it wasn't obvious out of those two who was the best. Well, most will tell you it was Ashton Jeanty by a mile. Others will tell you that Travis Hunter, being a player who plays on both sides, automatically makes him the best in the nation. I feel like both sides of this argument have been a little crazy about the other side and a little, tearing down both sides because both these players are incredible. And to discount one just to bring up the other is absolutely stupid because we know good and well both of them are going to have great careers. But the disrespect I've seen specifically to the Heisman winner Travis Hunter doesn't really make sense, especially when you break down the stats and everything that he's done. To make this more all-encompassing, I'm going to break it down into 3 sections. 1, I'll be comparing the two stats. 2, I'll be comparing the two's team success. And 3, I will be just eye testing it and telling you just to watch the game to see who's better. Because if I'm being honest, this was a closer Heisman race than most people think. And I'm genuinely surprised that this wasn't split and they just didn't give both of them the Heisman. That probably would have been the happy ending. But anyway, let's go off with the stat comparison, which already we're breaking it down. Those who discount Travis Hunter, I just want you to look at this real quick. All right, we have somebody who has 92 receptions, 1,152 yards, and 14 touchdowns as a wide receiver. That's already pretty great wide receiver stats, especially when you have guys like Jimmy Horn on his team. Shador is really good at spreading the ball around. He's not the only guy getting the ball. He's not the only guy getting targets. He's getting what he can get on this team. But then once we move to the defensive side of the ball, it's shut down. 11 PPUs, 4 interceptions, and only 1 touchdown allowed in over, I think, 300 cover snaps that he's taken. I don't know the exact amount, but it has been more than 300 cover snaps. So let me break this down again. He's dropped back to coverage over 300 times, and only 1 touchdown has been allowed. And about 20 or so catches. Again, I'll pull up the PFF and I'll put it on the screen for you. But I think it's pretty safe to say this is a lockdown cornerback. So if we're talking about a lockdown cornerback, a 1,000-yard, 10-plus touchdown receiving wide receiver, that alone, he should have ran away with the Heisman. But then we're comparing him to this man, Ashton Jeanty, who has 344 carries, 2,497 yards, and 29 rushing touchdowns with 0 fumbles on the year. I want to make sure that it's very clear. He did not cough the ball up one time in those 344 carries. That is generational too. Both these numbers, if they were put in any other Heisman race, if they were put last year, they're winning the Heisman. If they're put the year before that, they're winning the Heisman. It's really just unfortunate that they matched up against each other. They happen to be in the same Heisman race doing this. But I think it's very important to point out that both of these players contributed to their team success in a way, which moves us to category 2, which is where Ashton Jeanty kind of takes over.
They fake it to Jeanty at the end around. Cameron Bates has got it. And Bates, does he? He does! Touchdown, Boise State!
And all rushing from one side.
The Big 12 opener comes down to this play. Sanders gets the feet set toward the end zone for the game. It is!
Because team success, even though you can say, oh, Colorado's not as good with Travis Hunter, Boise State without Ashton Jeanty, I don't know what to tell you. He won most of those games single-handedly. And while there were a good amount of games you can say that he just came in late, boosted his stats, I don't mind both these players padding their stats a little bit because at the end of the day, they're not only competing to be Heismans, they're competing to go to the league, they're competing to be the best. They're competing, I don't care if they compete. Stat padding wouldn't exist if the defenses kept playing. If the defenses and offenses kept playing. It's not their fault that they're out here smacking teams and they get to pad their stats. But another thing that goes along with that team success is Boise is seeing the best team they've seen in a good bit. It has been a cool minute since Boise State has been this good. Week in, week out, you can see this is a completely different team. This team loves playing with each other. This is a great, obviously, this team is going to go far in the college football playoffs. I'm already calling it. I could see them going to the college football championship. I can see them doing that. And while Colorado not as successful, you kind of have to wager it a bit that Travis Hunter's impact can only be felt so much. Because while a running back, if he's just rumbling through, then he can rumble through. A wide receiver needs a quarterback he needs, he needs other wide receivers to help him, or else he just gets double teamed. As a cornerback, he needs his defensive lineman to lock in. He needs everybody else on the field got to lock in. So Travis Hunter's, Travis Hunter's impact can be felt only so much. Ashton Jeanty made sure his impact was felt. So I will give this to Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty is 100% the reason Boise State is as good as they are. There's no taking that away from them. You can't do that. So at this point, they're splitting it because the stats I give it to Travis Hunter. Because you can't compare that. But if we're talking about team impact, I'm giving that to Ashton Jeanty. The final thing to do is just eye test it. If you're eye testing who the best player is, I understand this is a little funky. He's like, what do you mean eye test? What are you just gonna look at him and say who's the best? And that is precisely what I'm about to do. If you just watch the game of football, know multiple positions, you would know that Travis Hunter is an insane player to watch. This man in zone coverage can shut down 3 different routes in the route tree, and somehow people still say he's an average corner. We don't talk about those people. But at the same time, on the different side of the coin, watching Ashton Jeanty play football, it's him rumbling through guys, him rumbling through the defense. He absolutely just destroys dudes. Watching Ashton Jeanty is like watching a mixture of prime Marshawn Lynch and Alvin Kamara put into one. I mean, his balance and his strength is unmatched. So again, it really depends on you, but just pure eye test. Watching Travis Hunter go up for one-on-one balls, watching Travis Hunter run routes, watching Travis Hunter play DB. All of this while in the back of your brain knowing that he's playing both sides over 1,000 snaps this year. He couldn't be compared. He barely gets a break, if any. In a close game, you bet he's playing both sides. You think Deion's gonna give him a rest? If it's a must-win game. So judging by the eye test, again, the eye test along with the stats, you can give the edge to Travis Hunter. Watching him play football and seeing the numbers he didn't put up, like touchdowns allowed, receptions, yards. He wasn't just out there getting cardio like most would want you to believe. He was out there playing both sides, taking over both sides of the ball. And legitimately, even though Ashton Jeanty had a generational running back year, this is not to discount Ashton Jeanty at all. Ashton Jeanty had a great year. And before I make my final verdict, I just want to say that I have no leg in this race, all right? I am an LSU and Louisiana Tech fan. My favorite player in the country is Kyron Lacey. And if anything, I have more bias towards Boise State because I know somebody personally on the team. So I have no bias against Boise State. If anything, if Ashton Jeanty won the Heisman, I would be fine if any of these two won the Heisman. But it was Travis Hunter, and people are complaining about it. And I'm putting that to bed. I would have made the same video if Ashton Jeanty won and people were complaining about it. I was in the process of making this video before the Heisman was even announced because I knew it was going to be a problem either way. It's Travis Hunter makes the most sense. He fits the bill of a Heisman. Don't get me wrong. Again, Ashton Jeanty in any other race, put him in most other Heisman races, he's just winning flat out. He might even be unanimous. Especially last year, put him up against Jaden Daniels and he's cooked. Jaden Daniels he's not winning that Heisman anywhere. It's going to be unanimous. But giving it to Ashton Jeanty, he still deserved it. Travis Hunter earned it. So while yes, Ashton Jeanty carried his team to the playoffs and probably will carry them through the playoffs, I think the thought process for the voters is, well, give Travis Hunter a playoff team. What does he do? What is his impact felt even more? Because it's not like in these big games Travis Hunter disappeared. He showed up in every single one of these games. He went up against Arizona and Trent McMillan and did not let them get a touchdown on him. So again, I say this, it's really up to you. I was going to be perfectly fine with whoever won the Heisman title, and unfortunately, it just had me Travis Hunter for Boise State fans. But fortunately for y'all are still in the playoffs, and y'all will go the distance as long as Ashton Jeanty is still carrying the ball in the backfield. But anyways, that's all it's going to do for the video. If you like the video, like the video. If you're watching my content, you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? And this is your local Toxic Saints fan, and I'm signing out.